भाष्य ननु ओंकारश्चा च शब्दश्च द्वावेतौ ब्रह्मणः पुरा कंठं भित्त्वा विनिर्यातौ तेन मांगलिका उभौ इति स्मृतेः मंगलम एव अथ शब्दः शास्त्रारंभे हि शिष्टाः विघ्ननाशाय तत् आचरन्ति इति चेत् मैवम् ईश्वरस्य विघ्नाशंका विरहात्. Objection. But atha merely indicates auspiciousness. It is said in the Smriti, the words Om and Atha came from the throat of Brahma in ancient times. Thus they indicate auspiciousness. The wise employ these words at the beginning of texts, at the beginning of scriptural texts, to destroy all obstacles that might arise. If one were to say so, this is not so. The reply is no, this is not so. One should not worry about obstacles in relation to the Lord. One should not worry that there are obstacles to the Supreme Lord Himself when He is composing a scriptural text. Ishwarasya, Badarayanasya. And the idea is that one should not worry about obstacles in relation to Lord Badarayana. Badarayana is the name of Vyasadeva. Tat Ishwaratvam tu Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Vidhi Narayanam Prabhu Miti Smritehe. Vyasa is the Lord, for it is for the Smriti says. Know that Vyasadeva is Lord Narayana. Vishnu Purana 3.4.5. Krishneti, Sri Vaishnava Parashara Vakyam. This is a statement from Sri Vishnu Purana, and it is a statement of Parashara himself. Ko hyanyah pundarikakshan mahabharata krit bhaved iti vakyasheshaha. And the remaining part of this sentence is, who other than him, who other than Lord Pundarikaksha, the lotus-eyed Lord Narayana, could have written the Mahabharata? Tathapi Mangalatmakatvat tasmat kambasvanadivat tat sambhavet iti tena eva lokaha api sangrihitaha. However, because Om is auspicious, it may also function in this way, denoting auspiciousness like the sound of a conch, besides indicating the necessity of good association. Adarshasya. No. Tathapi iti. Tasmad atha shabdat tat mangalam. So this word atha can be said to denote auspiciousness, can invoke auspiciousness. Tasmat tadrishasya pumsaha tadanantaram tad jigyasa yukta iti. This is how it is accepted in the ordinary world. Therefore, when a person has attained association with devotees, atha, after that, he will inquire about Brahman. It is appropriate that he inquires about Brahman. Tadrishasya nishkama karmadi vishuddhasya pumsaha. So, when a person means when a man who has these features, such as engaging in nishkama dharma, and his heart is pure, and so on, which have already been set out here. For such a person, Tad anantaram satsanga uttaram. After he has attained association with saintly authorities, then an inquiry into Brahman is appropriate. Abindu mastako yomka sutato vrititopi sa dvibindu mastakastvesha bodhyo adhikarana ashritaha. And then he writes something following Jiva Goswami actually. He says that sometimes, because this is all in manuscript, so he's saying that he is putting, he has a system of putting dots below numbers to indicate that this is a sutra number, it's a vritti number, and it is an adhikarana number. So that was a note about that. Anko vritti parau yau tau bhashye bhashyakritau bhashyakrita dhritau taveva sukshme likhitau dvayoho krama jignirikshaya. And that method of numbering is also followed in the Sukshma Tika. Urvadhikarane tadrshasya pumsaha brahmagyana ichha yukta ityukta. In the previous adhikarana, so now that adhikarana is over. Now we are moving to the next adhikarana. So in the previous adhikarana, it was stated that for such a man, the desire to learn about Brahman is appropriate. Brahma sukham tu pareshaha iti bhumatma bhuma atma shabdehi vimrishtam. Teja shabda jiva pakshe sangatche ran ityevam vidha akshepa sangatya para adhikaranam pravartate. Then the next what he's saying, understandable when we see the next portion of the commentary. So, okay, topic 2, subsection 2, which consists only of one sutra. Janmadhyadikaranam, the definition of Brahman. Since the word Bhuma indicates the Jiva, the word Brahma in the previous verse, Bhuma to Vijnasitavya, one should inquire about Bhuma, should refer to the Jiva also, since the Jiva is a subject in the discussion of husband, wife, and others in Chandogya Upanishad 8.23.6. And the dictionary meaning of Brahman is something great, the Jiva, Brahma, and sacred words. Okay, all of this requires a little bit. Let's go back and follow. Let's go back here. Go back here. See, under topic 1. This is Chandogya 7.25.1. This Vishayavakya is the interpretation of this Vishayavakya is now the reason for proceeding into the second Adhikarana. So here, the word Bhuma was used, that great Brahman, that great one. Bhuma literally means, can mean just the Jivatma itself, because the Jivatma is great in comparison to matter. So he's saying, as an objection, takes up an objection. Previously, the word Brahman was used, Bhuma was used, but that can be used to refer to the Jiva. Brahman can also be used to refer to the Jiva. So in the Tika it is said, Brahma Sukham tu Paresha iti Bhumatma Brahma Shabdaihi Vimrishtam. Here it was stated that Bhuma itself is happiness. The great one is happiness. And therefore you should inquire into that great one. Because that which is great is that which is bliss. There is no other bliss other than that great one. That so those words can now be linked with the jiva, can be interpreted as the jiva. So the objection now is on the basis of a reinterpretation of that verse. पूर्वोत्तरे यो वै भूमेत्यत्र भूमशब्देन आत्मा वा इत्यत्र आत्मशब्देन जीवम् अभिव्यक्त्य सूत्रकारेण ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा इत्यत्र ब्रह्मशब्देन अपि तं जीवमेव. The idea is that in Chandogya 7.25.1 or in Brihadaranyaka 2.4.5 also here the word Atma is used. One should learn about this Atma. Now the Bhuma can be interpreted to be Jivatma. Atma can also be interpreted to be Jivatma. And in the Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, the Brahman itself can be interpreted to be Jivatma. Brahmashubdenapi tam jivamirva. Bhumadi pra patyadi priyata samsuchanaya tatra tatra jivasyeva bodhyatva. Thus, in these various words that we come across in the context, we come across expressions like husband, the dearmost one, which refers to the jiva or which can refer to the jiva. Prana prakriyaya, pati jayadi, priti samsuchanaya, च तस्यैव प्रत्ययः बृहज्जाति जीव कमलासन शब्द राशिषु इति ब्रह्मशब्दस्य च तत्र रूढेः इति एतां भ्रान्तिम् अपनेतुम् आरम्भः. So the misconception is caused because previously, that means in the context of the Vishayavakyas which are considered in the past, you come across expressions while discussing about the very life of the living beings in terms of husband, wife, and similar objects of affection. So now that can definitely refer to the Jivatma. The word Brahman itself, according to the dictionary itself, can mean Brihat, the great one. It can refer to the Jati or the Varna of Brahmana. It can refer to Jiva. It can refer to Kamalasana or Lord Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. It can refer to Vedic sound, Shabda Brahma. So these are all conventionally used also in this manner. So therefore this misconception has arisen. In order to destroy this misconception, this Adhikarana begins. Taitiriyake Bhrigurvai Varunir Varunam Pitaram Upasasara Adhihi Bho Bhagavo Brahma Iti Upakramya Patante. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, okay, let's see. This misconception is now refuted. It is said in the Taittiriya Upanishad 3.1.1. Bhrigu asked his father Varuna, "O great one, please teach me about Brahman." Varuna said, "One should know." Okay, that's a text which begins with this, that Bhrigu asked his father. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti, abhisam vishanti, tad brahma, tad vijigyasasva iti. Oh great one, please teach me about Brahman. Varuna said, one should know Brahman, from which all entities arise, by which they live, and into which they enter at death. टीका अथ ब्रह्मशब्दस्य जीवे रूढत्वादपि तथा इत्याह बृहत्. Okay, the reason why he had quoted the dictionary, this is Amara, why he had quoted the dictionary was because conventionally also Brahman can refer to the Jivatma. And here, Jati. Bhagat is one meaning, Jati is another meaning. Jati hi Brahmana Jati hi. The Brahmana caste or the Brahmana community. Shabdarashir Veda. And then Shabdarashi literally means the sounds, sacred words. That refers to the Veda. So the Veda is also referred to as Brahman. Rudhir yogam apaharati iti nyaya bhritva guna yogena bhagavat parata na vachya iti ashayah. So because there are so many meanings here, which meaning is appropriate? Now there is a standard principle of interpretation that the conventional meaning destroys the etymological meaning. A meaning might come from etymological analysis, but then you have a conventional meaning. Standard example is Pankaja. Panka means mud, Ja means that which is born from. So Pankaja can refer to anything that is born from mud. Etymologically, it can mean that. But conventionally, it refers to the lotus. So now you have two different meanings that are possible. So which one should be accepted, which one should be rejected? So this principle is there.
Are these rules described in Mimamsa?
They're in Mimamsa, they're in many places. They're commonly used by various commentators. And
so the Saddarshans, they all accept those.
Yeah, these are standard principles of interpretation. In grammar itself, it comes.
Yeah.
So even though there are two possible meanings for Pankaja, it is a conventional meaning which will win when there is a conflict between a conventional meaning and an etymological meaning. So here, the idea is that though there are so many different meanings here, that Brahman can refer to the great one, which is the Supreme Lord, or the Brahmana caste, or the Jivatma, or Lord Chaturmukha, who's born from the lotus, or can refer to the Vedas, Shabda Brahma. You cannot say that literally, if you see, Brahman means the great one, the one who possesses greatness, and the one who possesses greatness is Bhagavan. You cannot argue that because conventionally also it can refer to the Jivatma. Now, in this quote from Taittiriya Upanishad, Yatova iti, Yataha Prakriti Jiva Shakti Kad Brahmanaha Hetoho Bhutani Praninaha Jatani. The meaning of this statement is Yatova Imani Bhutani Janiti. This statement is taken into consideration as all living creatures have come from Brahman, who is the possessor of Prakriti and the Jivas as his potencies. Jatani, they are born from him. Tani yena brahmana sthitim vidanti. They attain their existence. They are able to continue. They are maintained by that Brahman. Prayanti. Pralayabhimukhani. Tani yat pravishanti. And then they become capable of being dissolved. And they actually dissolve into him. Iha samshayaha. So here is a doubt. The doubt is this. Jigyasyam Brahma Jivaha Sarveshwaraha. So the Brahman that is the subject of inquiry Is that the Jiva or the Lord of all, Sarveshwar? Vijnanam Brahma Chet Veda Tasmat Chet Na Pramadyati Sharire Bapmano Hitva Sarvan Kavan Samashnute. This is a quote, another quote. 2.5. If a person knows Vijnana to be Brahman, and if he does deviate from that understanding, giving up all sin in the body, he enjoys, if he, and it does not deviate from that. Tasmat Chet Na Pramadyati. If he does not deviate from that understanding, giving up all sin in the body, he enjoys all desirable objects. Vijnanam Sharire Vidyamanam Vijnanam Jivarupam Brahma Chet Veda Prakrititaha Vivichya Janati. If a person carefully discriminates the Jiva, if he carefully discriminates about Brahman in the form of the Jiva, that is Vijnana, who resides inside the body, to be different from Prakriti. Tarhi Papmanaha Hitva. Then, having given up all sins, Niravadya San, having become spotless, Sarvan Kaman Ashmute Prapnoti, he attains all kinds of desirable objects. Kritakrityaha Bhavati Ityarthaha, he becomes perfect in all of his endeavors. Iti tatraiva jivepi brahmatva dhyayatwadi. From this must refer to the Jiva, since Vijnana refers to the Jiva, and Jiva is a subject of meditation and so on. According to this context, Brahmatva dhyayatwadi shavanat adrishtadvara bhutotpatyadi hetutva sambhavacha. And the Jiva can become the cause of creation and destruction by some good karmas, by some extraordinary good karma. According to scripture, there is that possibility. Jiva hasya. So then the Jiva itself could be this Vijnana, the Jiva itself could be this Brahman discussed in this portion of Taittiriya Upanishad, both, which was mentioned in the previous quotation from Taittiriya Upanishad, Yato va imani bhutani jayante iti prapte jigyasyasya brahmana lakshnamaha. When the discussion has come to this point, then the author of the sutras then presents the definition or identifying characteristics of the Brahman who is meant to be inquired upon. Siddhanta, in reply, the characteristic of Brahman, which is the subject of inquiry, is stated as follows. Tika, Brahmanaha Lakshanamiti, regarding the definition of Brahman. Asadharana dharma vachanam itara bheda anumapakam va lakshanam. Lakshana, or a definition. First of all, when one studies Nyaya Vaisheshika, the first thing one studies is the definition of definition. Because unless one knows what is a definition, he will make a mistake in his classification of the various truths of existence. So now, the definition itself has been described here. It is a statement of a unique feature, or else it's a statement from which we can infer how that entity is different from other items in the same category or that which is outside of its category.
But that means Vishesha, right?
Here it just refers to dharma, characteristic.
Okay.
Nacha jagat janma adikartatvam etat jive sambhavati. तस्य तत्र असामर्थ्यादिति निरूपयिष्यति इतरव्यपदेशात् इत्यादिना अतएव जीवात् भेदश्च अनुमीयते. Now, the creation, maintenance, annihilation of the material worlds, there's no possibility that they can these scriptural expressions can be made to refer to jiva, because the jiva is simply incapable of this. This is going to be described here through other sutras also. We'll come across some other sutras which will say that it is not possible for the jivatma to be capable of doing this. So from this, it is clearly inferable that Brahman is distinct from the jiva. Actually, according to Vedanta Sutra, even the liberated soul is not capable of creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material worlds. Then we come to Sutra 1.1.2 Janmadhyasya Yataha. From that Brahman arise creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. Govinda Bhashya, Janmadi iti. The sutra begins with Janmadi. Tad guna samvigyana bahuvrihina janmasthiti bhangadi bodhyate. The compound Janmadi is a bahuvrihi called Tad guna samvigyana. Implied qualities are perceived along with the object itself. Tika Sutre Yataha iti Heto Panchami. Here in the sutra, sometimes the Tika will comment on the sutra itself.
Mm.
In the sutra, the word Yataha means from that. But Yataha can also mean because. See, here, Yataha is used in the sense of because. Because creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe takes place because of Brahman. Janmadishu sadharanyat bhumadi shabdan brahman arau vyutpadayati bhumatme ityadina. Atah anyatra bhagavatah anyasmin jive. Creation, maintenance, annihilation, all of these, in general, the words such as Bhuma, Atma, and so on, in the context of creation, maintenance, annihilation, and so on, certainly these words refer to Brahman, and that Brahman is Lord Hari. Asya Chaturdarsha Bhuvanatmakasya Virintyadi Sthavara Ananta Kartri Bhoktri Yuktasya Nanavidha Karma Phala Ayatanasya Jiva Atakya Ativichitra Vachanasya Vishwasya Yataha Yasmat Parat Va Avichintya Shaktikat Swayam Kartradirupat Upadana Rupacha Janmadi Bhavati Tad Brahma Atra Jigyasyam Tirtha. Thus it means creation, maintenance, and destruction. Asya refers to the universe, consisting of varieties inconceivable to the jiva, made of the 14 words, and to the doers and enjoyers from Brahma down to the immovable beings undergoing the results of various karmas. The meaning is, one should inquire about Brahman, the Supreme, endowed with inconceivable Shaktis, who is both the creator, efficient cause, and the material cause from whom there arises creation, maintenance, and destruction of the worlds and beings from Brahma to the immovable plants. भूमात्मशब्दौ व्याप्तिगुणयोगेन भगवती मुख्यवृत्तौ भूमाधिकरणे वाक्यान्वयाधिकरणे च तथा एव निर्देश्यमानत्वात् ब्रह्मशब्दस्तु निस्सीमा अतिशयगुणयोगात् तत्रैव वर्तते. The words Bhuma and Atma refer primarily or directly, Mukhyavritti, to the Lord, since etymologically they mean all pervading. This is also the conclusion of Sutras 1.3.7 and 1.4.19. The word Brahman applies to the Lord only because etymologically it means someone possessing unlimitedly great qualities. Tatraiva. They can only be made to refer to him as the primary meaning. Notice this very clearly. He's saying that these words can be made to refer to him only, both Brahman and Atma. Actually, in the Upanishads, Atma primarily refers to Vishnu. Only secondarily it refers to Jivatma.
Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that in the Upanishads, the Lord is affectionately called Atma.
Yeah. And there's a reason for that. Because he has a feature of being all-pervasive. Therefore, Bhuma, Atma, Brahman, these words primarily refer to Bhagavan. And even in this Vedanta Sutra, it is going to be, if one studies further, one will see through certain sutras, he is going to point out that the word Brahman actually refers to Bhagavan himself, because he is the one who possesses these features to a boundless, abundant degree. Atha kasmad uchyate brahmeti brihanto hi asmin guna iti shrauta nirvachana atoyam tatraiva mukhyaha. Apart from that, the Shruti itself gives an etymological analysis of the word Brahman. Now, why is he referred to as Brahman? Because he possesses a great number of qualities. Brihat. Brihat means great. Great number of qualities. Therefore, the word Brahman primarily refers to Bhagavan, Hari himself, Lord Vishnu himself. The Vedas say, why is he called Brahman? In him are infinitely expanding qualities, to make big. This Shruti is quoted by Madhva in his commentary, in his Nyaya Vivarana commentary, which is his third commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Tattaha anyatra tu tad gunamsha yoga bhaktaha eva rajadivat. Therefore, the word Brahman primarily signifies the Lord. The word is also employed to refer to others, since they possess the qualities of the Lord in part, just as the word king sometimes is used for the kingly person. Sometimes the word king is also used to refer to the servant of a king, a person who belongs to a king, or an associate of a king. However, because this other person or this other entity has only a portion of the features, that way of referring is to be understood to be metaphorical. Bhakta. is understood to be metaphorical. ततः अन्यत्र टीका ततः अन्यत्र भगवतः अन्यस्मिन् जीवे राजादि शब्दवद्यते राजसेवकः अपि राजा च उच्यते तद् गुणांश योगात्. Just like a king, the word king can also be used to refer to the servant of a king, because the servant of a king has a portion of the qualities of a king. स एव स्व आश्रित वात्सल्य नीरधिः तापत्रय विप्लुष्यमानैः जीवैः निःश्रेयसाय जिज्ञास्य अतः परब्रह्म अभिधानः पुरुषोत्तमः एव जिज्ञासा कर्मभूतः. For their highest benefit, the jivas inundated by the three miseries should inquire about the Supreme Lord, who is endowed with an ocean of compassion for those who surrender to him. The Supreme Lord alone is to be the object of inquiry.
So this is logical, because you want to inquire about the greatest person. You don't want to inquire about something inferior.
If the highest benefit can only come about from somebody who is superior to you.
Yeah.
So he is an ocean of affection for those who have taken shelter of him. And the jivas who are going to be inundated by the threefold miseries, they are meant to inquire about him for their own good. Ataha, therefore, Lord Purushottama, who is referred to as Parabrahma, alone is the object of inquiry in this context. Sa eva, Bhagavan eva, Viplushyamanaihi, Dakyamanaihi. The ones who are the jivas, they are being burnt by the threefold miseries of material existence. So for their highest good means for their own liberation from this burning fire of material existence, they need to inquire. अत्र गुणाध्यासः वक्तुं युक्तः वस्तुतः ब्रह्मत्व प्रसंगात्. One cannot say that the qualities are imposed on the Lord, since the inquiry is concerning Brahman, who really has these qualities. न च अत्र इति अत्र भगवत् शब्दवाक्ये ब्रह्मणि. Here Brahman actually refers to that entity, that person who is referred to by the word Bhagavan. वस्तुतः ब्रह्मत्व प्रसंगात् बृहत् गुण योगेन ब्रह्मत्व श्रुत्या वर्णितं यद्यपि रूढिर्योगात् बलवती तथापि श्रुति उक्तस्य योगार्थस्य जीवे असंभवात् न स आद्रियते. Because factually that quality of being great has been described by the Shruti to fit in with Bhagavan. So he is really Brahman. Brahman himself has the actual quality of greatness, even though there is the rule that Rudhir Yoga Balavati, that the convention is stronger than etymological meaning. Here, the meaning that is come about by etymological analysis has been described in the Shruti, and that is impossible in a Jivatma. Therefore, this principle is not accepted in this context. Jigyasa cha jnana ichha eva. Inquiry, jigyasa means the desire to know. Jnanam cha paroksha, aparoksha rupam, dvividham. And knowledge is of two types, paroksha and aparoksha. Tika. Jnanam cha iti Paroksham, Shabda. Paroksha means indirect knowledge, literally, and it refers to theoretical understanding. Aparoksham to bhakti, upasana, shabda, vyapadeshyah, anubhavaha. Whereas aparoksha refers to experience, realized knowledge, not just theoretical knowledge, realized knowledge, which is referred to by the words bhakti, upasana, and so on. Tatra pramanam vigyaya iti. The evidence for this understanding is now stated here. Vigyaya pragyam kurvita iti shruti. Because the Shruti says, knowing him, realize him. Vedanta Upanishad 4.4.42.
So when Krishna says pratyaksha vagamam dharmam, he means paroksha.
Aparoksha.
He means aparoksha, yes.
Vigyaya, Vedan viditva, pragyam, upasanam kuru ityartha. When it says knowing him, after knowing him, realize him, what it means is, first of all, learn about Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan from the Veda. And then afterwards, engage in upasana. Engage in upasana, by which you will realize him. Tatra parameva prapakam purvam tu tatra dvaram iti sputi bhavishyati. The first, paroksha, is the means. Okay, the latter, aparoksha, is to achieve him, to achieve Krishna. The first, paroksha, is the means. Literally, what he's saying is, between these two, the latter one actually is the means by which one can attain him. The previous one is simply the gateway towards that. This will be made clear later on. This will be made clear later on. Tatra parameveti, param vijnanam, purvam jnanam. So it is that vijnanam, or realized knowledge, which comes about by bhakti or upasana, that actually leads to the Supreme Lord. The previous one, theoretical knowledge, that is a gateway. Vijnanam brahmachet ityadikam tu jiva swarupa jnanam iha upayogi iti iha eva vakshyate cha. Iha brahmana jiva itaratva pratipadana tayoha advaitum na abhimato. It is also said, Vijnanam Brahma. Know that the Jiva is Brahman. This means that knowing the Swarupa, or the nature of the Jiva, is helpful to understanding the nature of the Lord. Tatra Vijnana, Iha Upayogi, Iha Brahma Jnana. So knowledge of Brahman and knowledge of Jiva helps us in understanding, in achieving knowledge of Brahman. This point will be made in this very scripture. One should not accept that the Jiva and Brahman are the same, since the scriptures insist on the difference of the Jiva and the Lord, as explained in sutras 1.1.16, 1.1.17, 1.3.15, 1.3.21, and 1.3.41. Iha Brahmana Jiva Itaratva Pratipadana, because right here in this very scripture, it's established that Brahman is distinct from the Jiva. Because of that, it is understood that Badarayana does not hold the view that they are non-different or non-dual. They are non-different from each other. Netara anupapapater, Veda Vyapadeshacha, Muktopasrityam Vyapadeshad, Akasho Arthantaratvad, Adi Vyapadeshad, Vedam Matra Samya Lingacha, iti sutre, Mokshe epi tayor, Vaita Nirupanacha. it is concluded there that even in the state of liberation, the two remain separate. He's not made a note of the last sutra that he's referring to. He has actually quoted the sutras and he has quoted the numbers. The last sutra is that he's referring to here is it is pointed out that the Jivatma is actually distinct from the Supreme Lord even at the point of liberation. एवं इह ब्रह्मज्ञ एवं वक्ष्यते सूत्रकृता अन्यार्थश्च परामर्शे इह ब्रह्मण इति इह जन्मादि सूत्रे. The author of Vedanta Sutra himself is going to say that the reason why something else is brought up into discussion for understanding the nature of Brahman is because it is related. That's one sutra which we come across. That refers to the Jivatma. By studying the Jivatma, one can understand the nature of Brahman. So Brahmana iti. Iha Janmadi Sutra. So the Brahman who is discussed here in the current sutra, Janmadhyasya Yataha, it refers to the Supreme Lord himself. Nano Vyavaharikaha Bhedaha Paraihi api Angikritah. One might object. Even others accept that there is a practical distinction between the Jiva and Brahman. Paramarthikastu abhedaha bhavi. Whereas in reality, there is no difference between the Jiva and Brahman. If one were to object like this, tatra, then the commentator begins to quote these sutras, all these sutras from 1116 and so on. The meaning of these sutras will have to be understood from the bhashya, from the commentary. Okay, we'll stop there.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.